So, hang on a minute, let's just turn this off. But oh, what is this one? I'm just having a look. I've got something here that I am not familiar with at all. I need to take it out of its thingy because maybe it's a draft of something that I haven't finished. But to me, I am not. Oh, crumbs. Okay. Let's read you this one. It's called Fire Starter. A flickering destruction reflects in his eyes, flames lighting the sky, heat searing and wild, smoke blown on a breeze, taking ash hot to the skies. He's feeling complete, satisfied and beguiled. Fire starter, arsonist, he's called so many names. Destroyer, disruptor of society lives. Matches and petrol, his tools for his fame. The adrenaline thrill helps him to survive. It's nothing to him, this destruction he brings. The first flicker of flame, his pulse racing. Watch from a distance, the sirens cut in, overriding the pounding of blood tracing. Organised professionals there at the scene, know exactly what has to be done to stop and curtail destruction that's been started by an unknown someone. When all the confusion and turmoil is done, when the battle with smoke, flame and fire is won, smouldering ruins are all dead and forlorn, and the only spectator in the darkness is gone. There you go. Something completely different. This is two bits of poetry that I found right at the end of the book that I had not included in my main lot. Give me a line, give me a rhyme, give me a short moment of your time. Show me your smile, show me your style, show me how you can luringly beguile. Talk to me slowly, explain what you are. Tell me you can do wish on a star. Thank you, Hog Fan. Have you the peace in your heart and your mind? Have you the hope for all mankind? Tell me we will find out. No. Tell me we will find how we can live, how we can show each other goodness and love. I will stay by you, will never deny you. Place my heart with your heart, never decry you. Give me your hand. Show me how to stand right by your side with no demand. We can move mountains if we stand strong, encircle all people and fill their hearts with song. Make me a wish that I know will come true. Make me believe in the hope that is you. Like Pandora's box, keep the most precious thing, hope in mankind and hope in all things. There you go. Welcome, Hog Fan, for coming to this once again little poetry corner I'm going to say I just took those last two out of here that were in the back end of this. Oh, I'm never sorted out there. Right, this is a bit of a ghosty one. Gliding silently through the evening air, ethereal forms flit here and there. Souls of humanity, their bodies cold, essence of hope, beguilingly old. Looking for the ones who have gone before, following the crowd to eternity's shore. With blinding faith, they follow through the ones before, the ones that knew there is a farther place to reach, where solace and comfort is given to each. All viewed the same, all given the chance to stay there in peace, no happenstance. This place has been, for an eternity, a still oasis of calm, setting all minds free. Trials and turmoils of everyday life given up, left behind, no battles, no strife. So spirits come forth and find your repose. All are welcome to share what heaven bestows. There you go. Granny Wordsworth. Okay, we're going backwards this time through the book. So, here we go. I must say the last two or three I've read have got no title at all. This one's got no title. So, let's see what it's all about. What are we seeing on our TV? News so grim and sad. Everywhere there's people fighting, bloody turmoil, crazy, mad. Places that were once so peaceful seem to now be running wild. No safe from mindless slaughter, not sister, brother, mother, child. Across the oceans, Africa is seething, wild with discontent. Innocents are running blindly, looking for safety from hell's descent. Suicide bombers walk amongst us, curiously happy in what they do. We can only see and wonder why their thoughts are so askew. In the name of their religion or corrupted power held by one man, or tribal wars being resurrected, we in the West don't understand. And here on our little island, green and pleasant, well, we see muggings, murders, we watch in horror all that is shown on our TV. A man attacked and killed by neighbours, innocent of any crime. Teenagers stabbed and shot whilst playing. Our headline news all the time. It hardly seems a day goes by when someone's life ends too soon. Surely there is some solution, or are we crying for the moon? And it hasn't changed, has it? Because that was written some years ago. Hey, Joe. Hello. I imagine possibly you're a poetry lover. Okay, some of this I have read already. Yes, that one I know I read yesterday. And that one. And that one. I think we've gone through. We are going to come to a stage very soon where I will have gone through everything I've written, and we will either be repeating ourselves or not. All of this I've read. That one I read yesterday. Oh God, this is all so dull in wearying. I need to find something to read that's a little bit lighter hearted. But it's honestly, this is terrible. Looking through everything now. Ah. Hmm. I don't know if I read this one. I'm really not sure if I've read this one. I'll read it again anyway. It's called Storm. The thunder crashed, broke the silent night. Lightning flashed, brilliant and bright. Not a spot of rain, just a stillness between the crashing and flashing of this powerful scene. The air hangs heavy and heady with the storm, the atmosphere cloying and stiflingly warm. A blue jagged tail across the sky in lightness, showing the skyline incandescent in brightness. You can hear it overhead, sizzle and hiss, this power so awesome you cannot miss, the feeling of things out of control, the increasing rumble of the thunder's roll. Then it is there, the incredible crash, the answering call to the lightning flash. It envelops you completely, this angry roar, soaking up through your body from your feet on the floor. Giving no warning in the blink of an eye, the heavens open, rain falls from the sky. Heavy leaden drops spatter on the ground. In minutes, the roads and gutters flooded all around. Rivulets of water chasing down the street, eddying and flowing, fast and furious, to meet gurgling, gushing torrents from drain pipes down the walls, disappearing down the drains like minute Niagara Falls. And all the time, the fury of the storm in the sky rages on all around in spectacular array. Nature showing in the sight of lightning harsh and bright, and the hearing of the thunder blasting through the night. As you stand and watch and listen, it slowly moves away. Thunder gradually moving on, a sign this display of uncontrollable energy is fading, growing dimmer, and on the horizon, just appearing, the sun's first glimmer. I've got an idea I read this before. I don't know. I think I must have done. Do you know what, Hogvan? I think I said a couple of days or so ago, reading through this stuff now myself, I wonder sometimes what type of not mood exactly, but exactly what sort of place was I in. But I took a lot from the everyday news, what we had. All these poems were written 9 years ago. And as you can see from our news today, nothing has changed in nearly 10 years, which is a shame. This is another thing. I read you this now. This was something that was on our news. A little boy was shot today. Whatever's going on, we say. He was happy, healthy, playing free. One moment there, the next, we see his body lifeless on the ground in a pool of blood. Gunshots resound, echoing through the quiet there. Sudden sharp sound travelling on the air. A child's life stopped, with us no more, no chance to grow or to explore. Parents distraught, their whole world gone, not understanding what went on. Too many times we hear each day of shootings and stabbings the gangland way. Too easy now to get a gun, shoot and kill, turn and run. An innocent boy caught up in what? Nothing to do with him, this shot that rang out across the space of a playground green, a children's place. Mother thinking her child is safe, playing football, and that's not the case. Neighbours all in shock and sorrow, Angry retaliation may follow. Understandably, a gut reaction that will not solve this desecration. The perpetrator of this crime, they say a child not more in time had he in years than this young lad, a year or two at most. How mad and angry his life must be to do this to a child so free. A hand hardly big enough to hold a gun, instrument of death so cold. Who's to blame? We shout and yell. The parents? Society? Who can tell? Does a mind that young really know what he has done, this fatal blow? Left a family bereft in mourning, losing a son with no warning. Hue and cry across the land. This must be stopped, we all demand. Family life. Oh no, hang on. Oh yeah. Family life for some's not good. So much going on in the neighbourhood. Drink, drugs, and gangs go hand in hand. Parents with children, they don't understand. How to bring them up, they haven't a clue. So they just let them go. It's all they can do. And so the ones who are never there for their child bring hurt on the ones who care. A prayer and a life of sad memory is all that is left for this family. Will they forgive the one with a gun in his hand who has finished a life and made them all stand by a grave so small to say a sad goodbye to a son whose memory will never die? And that's true, Ida Crass. That I've just read is actually something that happened. It was all in our news. A little boy out in the playground playing football or something and got shot by another boy who wasn't much older than him, I don't think. And we're still hearing that as well today now. And as I say, nearly 9-10 years later, nothing has changed. In fact, we're hearing it more than we did before. People, things are happening like that now. And instead of now it being guns and things, it's knives and things instead. And people shoot. They're youngsters, though. They're youngsters. And I mean, we're more or less. Hey, Henry McKay. Hello. Welcome. A lot of it that's coming out on our news, they're saying, it's youngsters who get caught up in a gang, maybe because at home is not that nice. So they go out and they find probably, the wrong type of gang to go in. And they get hooked up on different things. And I'm not sure if it's the same as it was, but if they want to join that gang properly, they have to go out and do something like that. Find somebody, stab them with a knife, or even now it's machetes and that sort of instrument. And then they turn around and say, where do they get these weapons from? And the places that sell them, they shouldn't be allowed to. Why are they allowed to? It's so easy, especially when it's on the internet now. Just log into some company or shop that is selling weapons and you can get them. Incredible. It is disappointing. It is, Ida Crass. I am well, thank you, Henry. I am well, thank you. We do this little poetry thing, or I've started to do it the last few days, and it usually ends up with chatting and stuff. And maybe it's something, if I at some point could possibly explain some of the poetry that I've written. that one I've just written, yes, I can explain it very well, because, like I say, it is something that happened in our on our news, and it just beggars belief that things have not changed. So, and who is supposed to change it? That's a good question, isn't it? Who is supposed to change it all? It's just too. Do you know, I get lost for words because I cannot understand how somebody would, how whatever age they are, would be quite happy to go out and kill somebody who they don't even know. Somebody that's not done anything to them. Do you know what? When I was at school, as usual, all youngsters, you'd fall out with somebody. I mean, that's the way of things. It's very easy to fall out with somebody, right? So, I can remember times of falling out or having an argument with whoever, and the thing was, you had an argument, perhaps in the school playground or at school at break time, lunchtime, or something like that. Then you would go home, and the next day you'd go back, and you'd have forgotten all about what you were arguing with the day before. Whereas nowadays, they carry it over. They take it further. They take it out of school. They take it to the neighborhood, wherever they were living and wherever the person who they were disagreeing with lived. And they would antagonize until somebody got fatally hurt. And not until that happened were they satisfied. And it's young ones. Yeah. It was sad about the girl on the train and stuff. Honestly. Yeah, you know, I mean, we have heard so much in the last, well, through the beginning of this year. What are we now? We're over halfway through the year, and there has been so many young ones that are not with us anymore. And so much you hear, and over in the US as well, we get the news over about somebody with a gun gone into school and decided to just open fire on a classroom, see how many they can kill. And why do they do it? Because they're disgruntled over something that happened at school when they went there. That is no reason to do the sort of thing that gets done nowadays. That is no reason. Well, social media hypes it up, don't they? They hype it up so much. I mean, two or three main stories that have been on our news lately. I mean, the chappie that shot the other chap. I have no idea who either of them are. I have no idea who the chap was who got shot. But shot because the person that did it, didn't like how this one was. That is no reason. That is no reason to shoot somebody and kill them. And that is at the moment, you know, though it's American news, it's all over our news too. And I think there comes a time when I think to myself, it's sad and it's not right, but oh my gosh, have we got to listen to it all over again? It is though our news and all the social media stuff, they don't want to talk about anything nice and happy. They're much happier, and then they hype it up, don't they? And they sensationalize it. We had this, well, you wouldn't call it a demonstration, but over the weekend That was all on the news, where they reckoned nearly up to 1 million people congregated down in London, right? And they're saying, oh my goodness, 8 people got arrested and the police had such a job to do. But do you know what? Not one of the things that was shown on the television showed anybody having an argument, having a fight, shouting and trying to shout over somebody else about something they agreed with or something they didn't agree with. This was a completely peaceful, I know it was a lot of people, but people just coming together, thinking that, you don't have to shout and scream. And the news are, oh my God, there was 8 people arrested, and goodness, when you think that there was they say nearly 1 million people there, 8 people out of 1 million is, to me, it's nothing. It's just a shame that it happened, that 8 people got arrested. And you see, and our news keeps on. It keeps on telling us that. Oh, and making out that this congregation of people was so awful, when in fact they were just peaceful people. They were people. They were mothers with children in prams and little ones. They all went there. Did they think it was going to be mayhem? If they wouldn't have taken their little ones, would you? Immigration control. This is it. I mean, I'm afraid our government are very weak on this subject. They're very weak, and they have they're standing and living by the human rights thing that apparently we of Great Britain belong to, this human rights thing, whatever it is. And because we belong to that, we will abide by it, and anybody, more or less anybody, can come along. But they don't think of the far wider consequences, and they have no idea at all about what people think. I mean, I'm all for helping anybody if they're in trouble, but there's a limit to what you can actually do and what can be done. And I think people are more annoyed, not so much about the people coming as the fact that the government seem to be ignoring what people are saying and how unhappy everybody is. You look to your government for them to try and work out any problems and put things right. This lot don't seem to want to do that. And quite honestly, the only thing they want to put right at the moment is for the illustrious Donald Trump not to put tariffs on our goods that we will trade. That's all they seem to be interested in. And I don't know. It's weird. But we are the small fry. We are not the ones who should, we don't know what to do we? Like I say, we're only small fry. But they don't know what to do either, I don't think. But there you go. That is it. I've said so many times, bring back the 1950s. When I think, as I say, any of us youngsters, we had a beef one against the other, we'd sort of knock it out. Well, not knock it out exactly, but we would, it would just be words. It wouldn't get any further than that. Yeah. Henry, that was something, wasn't it? Yeah. This is it, isn't it? It makes you think, doesn't it? Especially, Henry, if you have seen so much of it. And then it makes me think that I am making comment about what is going on with our youngsters, with the gun killings and the knife killings in that. It is absolutely a drop in the ocean compared to what you saw and went through up in Northern Ireland there. Not not good at all. Mm, yeah. Well, God. I Hog found lately everything seems to be revolving manor. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is, to be quite honest, I really think, as far as the public are concerned here, the government have got off very lightly, because there could be massive disruption here. When you see those people that congregated in London at the weekend, all it had to do was turn nasty and it would have been horrific. And when you see, now what was the country? I think it was in Nepal, where they've burnt down the presidential or the government's buildings because they are so annoyed about something that was going on with their government. I mean, when you see that happening in another country, our government have got to think themselves lucky that nothing like that has happened here, because it could so easily. And it's incredible when all those people came out at the weekend, and as far as could be seen, even though the news want to pick and poke it about and make it sound something worse than what it was a perfectly peaceful million people nearly coming out and just showing they were protesting, but they were quietly protesting and they weren't causing any bother or any nuisance. And as I say, I think our government have got to be very lucky that nothing worse than that happened. Because, I mean, we've had riots in towns and places before where shops have been destroyed and places have been, and things have been set on fire. Over what? I can't remember now. But isolated incidences in just certain towns in areas. But what people are annoyed about now is much more widespread through the whole of the country. And the government just don't seem to. It's unbelievable. They were voted in because they were supposed to be the party for the people. And they've so far, I can't see they've done much, really. But they're hoping to get on British are now hoping to get on America's good side by buttering up your president. It will be very interesting to see what happens with it all when it's all calmed down and he's gone back home. So, I don't know. Ridiculous, yeah. Oh my God. If you had carried on, honestly. You see, this is, I mean, here where I live, I think I'm extremely lucky. It is very peaceful here, and you don't hear people protesting or marching through the street about anything, though we have got quite a diverse community here now. There are many, many more people of different ethnicities here now. And a fair few of them have set up businesses and shops and that, and they seem to do okay, and they don't seem to. But it's it's just, I think that we are in just a good place there. Northern Ireland hopefully is okay now, isn't it? Yeah, but Northern Ireland through the years has had problems, haven't they? And it's I think it's been a bit of a long haul and a hard walk for Ireland to get where it is today. Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sorry, a lot of people because of somebody's color or way they dress or the way the way their religion is, they just point the finger and, oh man, rubbish. No, no, no. They're people like everybody. They just live a different life and they just come from a different background. And yeah, I think, to be quite honest, Henry, I think Ireland in the end has pulled through and has done very well. I do not know all of the history about it, but I mean, obviously, I was aware when all the troubles were going on and stuff, because then it was all over on our news and everything. And it was, yeah, it was a hard time. It was a hard time. It was a hard time for anyone. And from what you've just said there, you a lucky, lucky lad. You're a lucky lad, and something has kept you here with us. Incredible, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, I mean, yeah, hog fan, it's what they say, isn't it? One person from a certain set of people. I mean, they're picking and poking about the immigrants and the boat people that are here on with us now. One of them does wrong, and one of them has been quite naughty, but he has been put in prison for it. They then go and complain about the whole lot of them. Apparently, if one does something, then the whole lot are the same, and they're absolutely not. And some of the in the past, so some of the young men that have been interviewed, I mean, to me, they seem really quite genuine. They've got away from something that would have, you know, not given them a very good life. And they have come over and they do genuinely want to work. They want to do something. They want to contribute. You get people like that. We need people like that in this country. I think every country needs people who will work and contribute to the community and to the country itself that they're living in. They don't all, I mean, just for an example, you see a lot of when I was in hospital when I had my heart attack, I would say 80% of the nurses and the people that looked after me were from somewhere else. And you think to yourself, why is it? And it's because a lot of us English ones, we don't get our heads down. We don't study enough. We don't want to do things, and I'm sorry to say it about my own people, but I've always thought we don't push hard enough. we tend to give in. They might start off something and think, oh, this is too hard, I don't want to bother with that. And then the next thing that comes up is what everybody's complaining about, is so many people getting social service benefits and that. People saying, you know, they can't work because they got this, they got that, they got something else. And they were saying that doctors were giving out too many sick notes too quickly to people. God, so much has changed. It's incredible. Yeah. Yeah. But it's all changing, and it's surprising now when I'm reading some of this poetry that was topical at the time I wrote it. It has suddenly made me think nothing has changed. Nearly 10 years on, and nothing has changed. In fact, things have got worse. Yeah. But there you go. I've got to go. We ought to leave on a lighter note, shouldn't we? I don't know that I've got anything lighter to say than the weather is coming all gloomy. It's joined in on all the doom and gloom, and it looks like it's going to rain like you wouldn't believe in a minute. You got it, huh? Didn't it like, yeah. You got a chip butty. God, you know what? They were saying something on the television the other evening, and I wasn't really listening to it that much. And I don't know if it was, I think it was an advert for crisps, and they were showing crisp butties and crisp sandwiches. And I used to have crisp sandwiches when I was a youngster. I used to love them. My husband couldn't understand it. And he say, you can't put crisps with bread and butter. I said, oh, yes, you can. Quite low. I don't think I ever had a chip butty. I think maybe that might be in a different part of the country. But I did too. Yeah. It's like, whoa. When I think of all the, you know, so now I'm harking back to my younger days and how little we had. And I didn't mind that at all, the little we had. You were happy with what you had. You didn't go looking for anything extra, because I know even at a young age that my parents couldn't afford it. Nobody could afford it. It was just after the war in this country. Things were tight. And when I used to think that my mother used to say to me, she used to get on to me because I would never have breakfast before I left for school. I never wanted to eat when I got up and before I went out. So I really didn't have anything to eat until lunchtime. And my mother used to make me sugar sandwiches because we couldn't afford cheese or ham or any type of meat to put in a sandwich. The only thing we could afford was sugar. And I had sugar sandwiches. And I didn't mind sugar sandwiches. They were great. Yeah. I can't imagine any kids having that now. And I think dripping sandwiches as well. Now, that's a big no-no now. You can't eat dripping sandwich. I used to love all that. Incredible. And some of the stuff I said, you know, I say to my daughter about what I used to have to eat. And she turned her nose up at it. And I thought, oh my gosh, girl. Yeah, you just didn't live in the age that I lived in. And that, you know, it just goes to show you were happy with what you got. And you didn't turn your nose up at it. And I remember my dad used to say when I used to Sunday lunches, when we all used to sit around the table, well, we did every meal anyway. That's something else we always used to do, sit around the table at every meal. And we used to, maybe if I looked up and made a complaint about something that was on my plate, You know, my mother would say, "There's lots of little children in Africa going hungry. They'd eat that up. So, you know, you've got to think yourself lucky." Yeah. I think my dad used to say, "If you don't eat it, there won't be none next time." Yeah, there you go. So, I think that's about it. Hmm. It makes life a good job of gratitude. It's great, yeah. It makes like, yeah, yeah, yeah. There was just again, this is me complaining and moaning, I suppose. Yeah, yeah, hydrocrass, yeah. Um, I think I did just very quickly mention the other day about some of the programs and some of the shows on our television and some of our soaps that we call them, our little serial things that go on each day with different storylines. And I think I said the other day, I don't know why they're bringing in. So it's nice to bring in younger actors and actresses to it, to portray a family, with a couple of kids and that in it. But they make these children so mouthy and so rude. And the storylines are always going on with parents not knowing how to deal with the child because it does. And there was one. Is that Hollyoaks? I don't. I never watched Hollyoaks, Idocrass. I watched at the moment. I'm talking about EastEnders, and I always watch it in the mornings on my television here rather than watch it on the main telly. And the one I watched this morning, there's a young lad. It's his birthday, and he wants a VR set. And the parents, they're always strapped for cash, and they've ordered this VR set for this young lad to come for his birthday. And they find out that when the postman came, the parcel wasn't there. The shop hadn't delivered it. And it was his birthday. And they're going crazy mad because, oh, what are we going to do? We ordered that. So instead, they bought him just a game for his console. And I know it's only acting and it's how they've been directed to do it in the storyline and all that. But they give this boy this game and he opens it up and he looks at it and and the look on his face is though he could just throw it out the window because it wasn't what he wanted. And I'm thinking, that is really, I don't know why they want to show stuff like that. You know, the again, I get lost for words with it. Again, I think back to when I was a youngster of that age and I would have been happy with anything. I wouldn't have, I might have been a bit unhappy if there was something I saw and I couldn't have, but I wouldn't make a face and want to throw it away. I'm not worried. Do you like your stories, Henry? Thank you. I wonder sometimes if I go a bit over the top with it all. But I think I get a bee in my bonnet sometimes about things. I just don't understand it. But then you see, I'm not of this young era, am I? I'm probably too old for anything now. Only for what I can, only what I remember it was like things were so much easier. There wasn't so much. But those times are dead and gone. Now we just have to worry about what everything is going to be like in the future. I'm afraid. I suppose people, when they were back in the 1900s, were worrying what it was going to be like in the 2000s. And we are still alive and kicking, like they say. But now then, I bet you anything you like. I'm going to check to see what would be on the television today later on to watch, but I bet I know what it's going to be. We are going to be up to our eyeballs with Mr. Trump, because that's all they seem to be showing us. Yeah. Sports and news. Honestly, be the best citizen of the world that you can, just like you. Trump playing football. Does he? He don't play football. He likes golf, doesn't he? He's a golfer. And yeah, I suppose he's got a certain tie to this country because his mother was Scottish, wasn't she? But and crazy mad about the royal family. They keep telling us that. I don't know why they want to keep telling us. And Donald and Mr. Trump saying, "Oh, King Charles is my best friend." Yeah. Well, it's nice. He's friendly, yeah. But then the king is friendly to everyone. It's his job. He's got to be. Got to be very diplomatic. There you go. So, as I say, that's what our television's going to be full up of. And I suppose we're just as bad as everybody else because we turned it off. We turned it on at 8:30 last night to watch Mr. Trump arrive. So I shouldn't be complaining about it, should I, really? Queen Elizabeth, yeah. Do you know what? I think she was a bit of a hard nut and a little bit, behind the scenes. But she was pushed into being queen at such a young age. Yeah. She came down our area once, not long after she'd been made queen. I remember we went to see her. I've got a photograph somewhere of her going along in a cavalcade of cars. We stood by the side of the road watching her go by. It's a blooming hard life, Hog fan. Anything in the royal family. After her dad was tough. Oh my gosh, she was so young. But she was, I think, only, she'd not long been married, I don't think, had she, to Prince Philip. And I think if all the news stuff about her was true, her and Philip had a fairly rocky time. I think she was all right to start with, but after she'd got into being queen for a year or two, I think Philip got a bit disgruntled, so he didn't like the fact that the spotlight wasn't on him so much. That was what our news was saying anyway. And then you see they pointed out that the fact that she had Charlie and Anne, and then there was a big gap before she had the other two boys, Edward and Andrew, wasn't it? She had, and there was a big long gap between them. And they reckoned then in that period of time, was when her marriage, her and Philip were a little bit rocky. But there you go. Again, that's just our news telling it. Who knows? Who knows? Did she like marmalade sandwiches? Do you know what? They showed once inside Buckingham Palace, and they showed it because the Queen came down for breakfast and she had butter and some other bits and pieces in Tupperware. And these people that were interviewing couldn't believe that the Queen was sat down at a breakfast table using Tupperware. So that was a really good advert for Tupperware. Everybody thinking that she must be using, the best china and the best silver and everything. And no, she wasn't. Not at all. And I don't suppose stuff tastes any better or worse from whatever you eat it out of or drink it from. Yeah. It's the Queen's standard was marmalade sandwiches. Was she not in? Now you say that, Idlecrust. She was in an advert or something once with Paddington Bear. That's where the marmalade sandwiches come to, isn't it? Yeah, I can't remember what that was, but she had something to do with Paddington Bear. Yeah. Ha ha. She had it in her purse. Do you know what? They carry around handbags and they got nothing in them at all. But it's just got a code. Wow, God, I hate handbags. I think I hate handbags just as much as a lot of other things. They are such a nuisance. And I'm afraid I don't carry a handbag. I can't remember ever carrying a handbag. No. I've got a little thing that I keep, like stuff I need to go shopping with, you know, like a purse, money, bank card perhaps, store cards perhaps. Not that I got many store cards now. Don't think I got many. And that is just a little carry thing I use. Go shopping, I got my shopper. I pull that along. Something on wheels is what I need. Very much so. The thing that women have compared to men is exhausting. Honestly, yay. I know, it would be busted. Yeah. I need a cart for all the new games. Oh. Well, do you know what? What have I picked up over the last week or two? I picked up 3 and I've hardly played them. I picked up Borderlands, was the last one I picked up, and I've played it for about an hour. And Hell Is Us, I might have played that a couple of turns. And the Lost Souls Aside one. Now, I like that one. And I don't know why I don't. Oh, I stopped playing it because I got stuck on something. I couldn't seem to get through to do it. I think there was some big boss. I couldn't kill it at all. Yeah. Right. Okie doke. Well, there we are. That is it. I need a card for it. Yeah. So. What? That's all right. I've got to go now. My husband's back. And we will go Friday now. Tomorrow's Thursday, once again. And oh dear. Honestly, I start talking with no thought at all of actually starting to talk. It sort of just comes out of my mouth. Anyway, yeah, I've got to go now because my husband's here. And he'll want, I need to sort some tea out. See what we've got. I will be back on Friday, as I say. Thanks, everybody. And you all take care. Until we meet again, which I hope we will.